Hello and welcome to our new video. In this video we're going to show you a little bit about our S15, what's inside, how we built it. It's actually for sale after this Polish round, so we're going to build a new car next year. So let's take a look. So this car is actually Nissan S15. It's a 2000 model. It's imported from Japan and brought to Finland. It was kind of a show car, and then I got the car and we stripped it down to a bare metal and built it in one winter for Formula Drift and shipped it to the US. So we competed there. It has all the Formula Drift stamps and registrations, everything in the roll cage. It's a pretty fierce machine. It has Toyota Supra 2JZ, GTE and the VVTi model. And currently it pushes about 900 horsepower to the hubs, so to the wheels. So that's close to 1000 horsepower on the engine. The engine inside, it's a Brian Crower stroker. It's a 3.4 liter. So it has the crank rods and pistons from Brian Crower. The head is also Brian Crower, has Brian Crower cams, and the valve train is Brian Crower. So we're using E85 to get to this power. It has a custom Martelius exhaust manifold. It's stainless steel. We had it before, and that's one of the reasons why the car sounds what it sounds. The exhaust manifold is stainless, and the exhaust is very thin, 3.5 inch stainless steel. It also has a Garrett turbo, which is the new model G35 1050, but we are pretty much maxing out the turbo by now. So, but still we got the 1000 horsepower from it. So, but always, like in drifting, our main purpose has been trying to get the engine spool up as early as possible. So with this setup, even we're pushing like over 3 times the stock horsepower. This setup spools up pretty much the same as a stock car. Below 4000 RPM we already have full boost, so it works pretty great. But because of the spool, we have an electronic throttle body from Finjector that we're using as an anti-lag system. So we open the throttle body, retard the ignition, get some gas, some fuel, and there's some loud bangs and the anti-lag that helps the turbo to spool up. We also have an option for nitros, so NOS. We had a kit from Nitros outlet from the States. It's a direct port. So it has a six different injectors, and we mainly use it to spool the turbo. Also on some races that we can't use the anti-lag because of the noise regulations or something like that. So it can be used for spool, but it can also be used for more horsepower on top. But still we haven't needed it because there's plenty of power. To keep this all safe, last winter we added a dry sump system from Ross, which has actually worked very great. We had some issues in some corners. We saw from the logs that the oil pressure was modulating a little too much. So after this kit, the oil pressure is very stable. That and the kennel oils we're using, it's a very great combo to use, and we haven't had any issues so far. For the suspension, we have full wide swap system, and this is the kit, the V2 kit that moves the rack forward. So the front has wide swap, and the rear has the wide swap also. Also has the Big M suspension, which is actually a Finnish company. They make a lot of rally suspension, but recently they made some drift suspension also a few years ago. And this is the S chassis kit you're looking at. It's a two-way adjustable It doesn't have the external reservoirs, but you can still adjust compression and rebound separately. And as you see in the rear, it also has the wide flap, the bigger suspension, and it has a Winter's quick change differential, the bigger one, 35 spine version, and the wide flap rear axles. Actually, the first axles I haven't had any issues with, like the ones I had before. So they've been very durable. I've driven with them like 2 seasons already and no issues at all. We haven't changed anything. And for the rear system, we have the radiator in the back. There's a water pump, external water pump here. And a very big radiator with 2 big spal fans. We haven't had any issues with the heat, so like whatsoever. The fuel tank is over here on top. We try to bring it as forward as possible because the weight distribution, and it also has the Nuke CFC unit inside. So everything related to the fuel is inside the tank. There's a tank inside, sucks the fuel from, and we don't have any starvation issues. So the inside, we have pretty much all the electronics are done by Motec. Well, not the wiring, but all the electronics. So we have, starting from the ECU, we have an M150 ECU and PDM 15. So we don't have any relays, external relays or anything in here. We only have the PDM that controls everything. And that comes to the Motec dash. And we can control everything from the keypad here, which is also Motec. All the wiring is done by my friend Beam Engineering, Pekka, which he has done a lot of WRC stuff for Toyotas and such, so everything is top notch. And inside we have a fire suppression system by Sparco that we can release here. If there's any accident at the track, there's nozzles on the feet, in the engine bay, and also in the rear near the fuel tank. And all the power from the engine to the rear is delivered by a Samsona's RS90 gearbox, which is the newest version, 5-speed sequential, so just front and rear. Samsona's is very strong and reliable gearbox, and we haven't had too many issues with it with the years of racing with it. So the body kit is one of the widest they make for an S15. It's a BN Sports blister. It makes the car look very wide. The wheels are 55/9 North wheels. Front is a 9.5 inch by 18, and the rear is 11 by 18. And behind the wheels you can see the big D2 brakes we put on a year ago. So I have this car for 5 years now. We built it for Formula Drift. We drove there 2-3 seasons, then brought it back to Europe. Started doing Drift Masters. I think this is our second year at Drift Masters, and next year we're building the new car. So unfortunately this car has to go. It can be yours. If not, then we're going to keep it, and we'll see what happens. But I would like it to be sold and see being used at the proper racetrack and races. So, but anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video, and see you in the next one.